Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Slimming Surgeon podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kandace Kichler. Today, I have a beautiful guest, my good friend, Ashley Lauren, aka Palm Beach Fancy. So Ashley Lauren's love affair with Palm Beach began over a decade ago when she started visiting regularly and eventually made the island her home. With a degree from the Fashion Institute of Technology, Ashley turned her passion for fashion into Palm Beach Fancy, the brand that she is today. She has an Instagram that celebrates the vibrant lifestyle of Palm Beach, not just the products, but the beauty, the local businesses, and the laid-back elegance of the area. What started as her creative outlet quickly grew into a business, especially after her iconic Palm Royale events. She's known for driving around town in her signature bubblegum pink mochi? I don't know. I always say that wrong. Her moche. And Ashley embodies the belief that being fancy is a mindset, appreciating every day and the paradise that Palm Beach offers. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you, Kandace. It's so great to be here.
I'm so glad we were able to make this work.
Me too.
We both have busy schedules.
Yeah.
And you're bouncing around in your moche.
Listen, it's someone's got to do it, but yes, and I came full glam to keep up with you today in our session. So.
I love it. We share a makeup artist.
Yes.
Shout out to Sarah Sims.
Sarah Sims,
SEMS. She's amazing. She does me. She does you. She does a lot of influential chicks around the area.
Yeah, I love her.
Amazing. So we actually met at an event.
We did.
In Palm Beach.
Yeah.
I think it was an Alice and Olivia event the first time we met. But then we kind of ran into each other several times at events. And we both kind of share our love for getting out and about and networking. But I feel like really one of the last times we connected, you mentioned how there's a lack of a great networking circle.
Yeah, definitely. There was a vast difference between meeting people here than there was in New York. And in New York, you gave your business card and it's where do you work and what corp and who's this? Oh, are you on a startup? Are you in a seed fund? I work in tech. And when I came down here, everyone was oh, what's your Instagram? And I said, well, I don't really use Instagram. And then quickly I did. And that was literally how I started Palm Beach Fancy. And I'll never forget the first time I gave it to someone, the girl kind of made a face. And I was oh, well, that's okay. It's fine. I still like it anyway.
Yeah.
And then it grew from there. But the event that I met you at, that was I think I got a couple pokes of Botox and that was my third time getting Botox ever.
Yes.
So the fact that we did that was, showed a lot of trust in you. So I don't do a lot. But yeah, and it's been great over, the years and to see you and be out and about and grow our friendship.
So essentially you started Palm Beach Fancy when you moved to the area from New York.
I did. Yeah. I came down for 3 months. Didn't think I was going to spend any longer.
Was that during COVID?
Yes. Okay. And then I never left.
Yeah.
And I gave up my apartment in New York last year. So I'm a real Floridian now.
Oh my God.
Not that I wasn't before.
A Florida driver's license and everything?
I've had it since I moved down actually.
Okay.
So yeah, I've had that for a while, but yeah, giving up the New York apartment was just the icing on the cake to really feel settled and to know that I was going to stay and build a life here.
I love that. Okay, so what does fancy mean to you?
It's a great question. And a lot of people ask me this, and I'm trying to, let's call it perfect it, but that wouldn't be fancy. So for me, it's a mindset, right? It's not a dress code. It can be a dress code, sure, but it's a mindset. And it's, having something with that little extra touch, going out of your way, smiling at people, it's free to be fancy, it's just kind of how you make it and what you want it to be. And I kind of grew and built on that in a couple, with the events that I've been doing and now some things that I'm doing this year and this season. And yeah, I think it's just literally your mindset. If you want to drive your pink car around town, just go ahead and drive it and be fancy. It's okay. Like no one's judging. Just go and do it. If you like it, I like it.
I love it. I mean, I embody that authenticity.
Yeah.
Just be you.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you got a couple looks whenever you first gave people your Instagram handle or your brand. Like, were you nervous to brand yourself like this?
I don't think I was nervous because how I started it was literally to make friends and to find things, where to go, what to do, following different accounts. I followed a lot of businesses. But I think the idea that Palm Beach Fancy became sort of more of a community than a person really gave me, the leverage behind myself to say, like, you're doing something great here. People really seem to want this, like, keep going. And now for me, I see Palm Beach Fancy as a community, and whether it's business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives, I want to bring that all together at our Palm Beach Fancy events and, illuminate some of the businesses that are around here in the new Palm Beach.
I love it. Especially, I love that you call it the new Palm Beach because it has definitely transformed even since I've lived here. I've lived in the area since 2012 and I really feel like it's just getting better.
It is. And look, I love the formalities. I love the pomp and circumstance. That's why when I had an opportunity to not work and live in New York City, I said, I'm going to Palm Beach. And I've always had this affinity for it. We were raised doing our, the handwritten notes and, calling Mr. and Mrs. and, not wearing sandals or pajamas to school. And, so there was that sort of draw to the formality. And I think it will always be there, even though this is, let's call it the new Palm Beach. But it's just completely different. I mean, 7,000 units, single units alone in 2025 being built and sold is insane. Like, where are all those people going? And the truth of the matter is it's all of Palm Beach County. And yeah, it may be that it's a lot downtown, West Palm, or Gardens, or maybe even Delray. But the reality is people are going down to Boca to have dinner now. They're taking the train to go to Miami and to see fun shows or, convention centers. And I don't necessarily think or really... I don't think that that's what was going on here before all of the newness, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a nod to the old formalities and to everything, the history. I mean, it's incredible what you can find. Definitely Palm Beach Historic Museum, they just opened their Wish You Were Here exhibit, and it basically says like how Palm Beach became Palm Beach through tourism and through more people coming down. And that stuff's going to be there. I don't want to get rid of it. I like it. That's what brought me down here. But there is a lot of new, and people are embracing it. They're excited.
I love it. So your first community event was in celebration of the premiere of Palm Royale, the series that was on, what was it on Netflix?
Apple.
On Apple. So tell me about that. Like, how many people came? What type of vendors were there? What gave you the idea to even do the event?
So I've been doing smaller parties or get-togethers at my house every month for a group of my friends. And when
I'd like to be invited.
Yes, you will be. And when Palm Royale came out, the trailer, the teaser, I said, oh my gosh, this has to be like my next party. And I always wanted to do that thing in the backyard where you get the big blow up screen. And then I wanted to do like little blow up pools with the pillows in it. And you kind of like all had your own little pool that you laid in, and we had drinks and snacks. And so I went to this market very soon after, and it was in a parking lot of Chelsea Lane. And I looked around and I just said, wait, why don't I just do it here? Why the parking lot made me think that. But, seeing all the vendors and everyone, coming together and just like walking by and just, hey, how are you? Oh, I didn't know you were here. Like, oh, there's a different vendor. And in 3 weeks, I had it planned, and we had over 200 people at our first party. All of the vendors and sponsors or donors for the event, they're all local business owners or entrepreneurs. They may not have a freestanding store, but this gives them the elevated pop-up, if you will. And, I think the beauty of it was that we took something that the world was talking about Palm Royale and Palm Beach wasn't. And, you know, I wanted to do it. I said, everyone else is talking about this. Why aren't we? And let's do something fun. And, you know, people, I think also too, in my following had said, okay, let's also make it fancy and let's also dress up. And we have four new themes this year. So there'll definitely be, so we have 4 events this year. There'll be new themes, new ways to dress and participate. But people loved it and they want something to do other than just go sit at a bar or go to a restaurant. But yeah, it was crazy. Our finale then had over 300 people. We went from maybe 18 vendors, I think, to 32 vendors, which was insane. And yeah, it was, I didn't see it coming, but then once it happened, I thought, well, duh. This is what we're doing. This is what I have to do. So I was really grateful for everyone that was supporting and came out. But it was a great time, and now here we are.
I feel like you can still look up photos. Like, it was such an event that everyone wanted to be at.
Yes.
I unfortunately was out of town, I think, for both of them.
Yes.
But I had a lot of friends attend, and it was just so cute. Like, looking at all the photos, seeing how much fun you guys were having. Like, it was outdoors. You had, like, you know, local celebs pop in, and it was just fabulous.
Yeah, we had the news
fancy
there. Yeah, we had the news there. We were in the paper 2 times for the event, and what I was really surprised about is everyone sat down to actually watch it.
Yeah.
So I learned my lesson that you need to have
a lot of
many chairs. And I did have a lot, but I may have skimped on, like, I don't know, maybe 25, because I didn't think everyone would want to sit down at the first one.
Or stay the whole time or whatever.
Or watch it, right? So I was like, oh, they'll come for the party, then they'll leave. Well, no, they stayed. Everybody sat down. So for the second one, it was just like a massive sea of chairs. And it was crazy to see that people really were coming for it. I was like, do you not have Apple TV, or do you just want to, like, do this with friends? But it was super fun. That's my big goal of all of these things, is to just have fun and do something new and different.
I love that. So this event and, like, what you've been doing with that kind of merged into your brand and now your membership, correct?
Yes.
So tell everybody about Fancy & Co.
Okay, so when I did the parties, I just had so many people messaging me and DMing me and emailing and saying, hey, I want to be at your event. Hey, I want to do this. Hey, I want to give you something. Hey, I have a different car you could use, something like that. And I really had no organized structure except to go back through, you know, at that point I had been tagged so many times that when you're looking through the messages and the hearts and I lost track of everybody. And so I said, okay, if I'm going to do these events, there needs to be a way that I can say, here is an organized way of signing up for it. And I just thought that there was a real, like, lack of networking for people that own their own businesses, for creatives, for, again, people that don't have a storefront or, you know, they're not at that level yet, but they want to give their, you know, I have accountants that joined because they're like, well, everybody needs an accountant, but that's not something that you would necessarily think that would be sitting at a party. But in a networking group, and you can speak to all the other small businesses. So Fancy & Co., it's definitely different because it's actually something where you can, I think, walk away and you can apply what we learn in our activities and the sessions with something that you can put to use. It's not just come get a drink, we hang out, and then we leave. It's a friend thing. Maybe you met a friend, maybe you didn't, maybe you just had a drink. You got a couple business cards, but did you really follow up with them? I have in my mind, every time I've gone to networking events, I'm so curious as to why people aren't like, who has a problem today and who can solve it and who has a suggestion? I mean, it's not that big here. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of options, but I also think that, you know, not everyone is for everyone. So why not, you know, share all those people? And it just, for me, is a better way. I think I would have loved to have that, you know, starting out. And I'm part of Chamber of Commerce too, and that's great. But I think, you know, the smaller businesses, they don't have the money to kind of join that and to sit at the breakfast and to do all the things. This is a real hands-on, practical, you know, get-together / networking session that will actually help you bring your business to the next level.
I think it's also super important that you're doing like in-person stuff.
100%.
You know, we all got away from social events, communication, face-to-face conversations, and like showing up when we went through COVID. And it like, there are still people who rely on Zooms for this, Zooms for that. And while we need that, because it's great to connect with people across the country digitally, and we've got social media at our fingertips, you don't get the same level of connection as you do when you're in person.
Right. And I think whether it's at a Fancy & Co meeting, our first member mingle is December 12th. It actually is the only event that will allow non-members to come and kind of see what it's about and see if it's something that they think they can use, or put to use for their business. I lost my train of thought. Trying to think of what was the...
We were talking about in person.
Oh, duh. Okay. So in person, I think whether it's a networking event or the Palm Beach Fancy events, that's what I was trying to say. It's still something that you go to. You don't have to pick up your phone. Like, you want to be engaged. You want to talk. Like, we had plenty of photographers at the party. Put your phone down. You can get your the step and repeat carpet. Go get your photo taken. But people were like really interacting with each other and making new friendships. And I just thought that was incredible. And I said, I have to continue this. And the vendors wanted to meet each other too. So when they're working, it's kind of hard if they're selling their products during the event. They didn't get much time to network. So I was like, perfect. This is an amazing way to do that all in one.
And that's what I feel like, I'm forwarding this to people who I know are vendors, or have like a business that they want to sell. They want to like promote themselves. And at the end of the day, like, why not? You shouldn't be ashamed of doing that. Like, this is the type of event where we can all kind of get together and collaborate.
Yeah. And there's a lot for everyone, right? I mean, at this point, the possibilities are endless with the growth that we've seen. So, not being in something like this or not going out of your way to get involved and or meet people or, just be collaborative is just kind of doing yourself a disservice, I think.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm 100% on the same page with you, but there are people who are like introverts and like, have a hard time doing these types of things. Like, what advice do you have for those people? Like,
you just got to do it.
Exactly.
I mean, it really is, it's, if you're not out and you're not talking to people and you're not understanding your business and the climate here and the changes that are not climate changes,
this is not an ecosystem podcast.
No, sorry. But if you're not really understanding what's going on in general with the development and the growth of our area, it seems crazy to me that you think that you're going to build your business when you're not building as fast as the whole area is, right? So I think ours too, the venues are smaller. We have over 100 members now, so we're really excited.
I'm one of the inaugural members.
Yes, you are.
Yay.
Yes, I think you were like top 20 maybe.
Oh, good.
You were in the beginning.
Good.
But, it's a smaller group that you can come. It's more intimate. It's not, listen, it doesn't have to be fancy. You can wear whatever you want. It's just a way to get together. And we're doing them in places that feel, comfortable enough that you can talk about your business and you can talk about, share your feelings, but, share things with each other because there's not enough of that. And if you're walking down the street, you may not pop into another store and say, oh, wow, like how did you get here? How did you actually get an office? Or, if you're not going to every restaurant that's new, but maybe you're in the restaurant business, but you should be doing local research, it's kind of like we give you the chance to come together and really be local and community based. So
I feel like that's exactly kind of how I use social media too. Like obviously we use social media for our personal reasons and to like look at stuff we're just interested in, but I use it as well to gauge what's happening around me.
Right.
And
100%.
Something like this is going to give you the opportunity to really see in person what are the people here like right now? What's the vibe? What are people interested in? What are people talking about? What are people wearing? What are people eating? Where are people going? And
Totally.
you can't know those things if you're sitting at your house.
Yeah, you can't. You just have to get up and do it. And if there's anyone that's listening that is nervous about it, just walk right up to me, find me. I will sit there and hold your hand. I will help all of you, because if you're not out there, again, it's kind of like, what's the point? You have to now. And I think being off the screen and not just your Instagram and not just an email, that is way more important these days, because it's just saturation online.
Exactly,
so
right.
If you're not doing it, then someone else is going to do it for you. So.
Yeah. And I know one time when we were together, we talked about how different something like this is versus just like signing up for a charity event.
100%.
Like, what's your charity? What are you interested in? And listen, I've been to a lot of charity events in Palm Beach, and I don't feel like it's worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're there to support charity, but at the same time, a lot of us go in the attempts to network at the same time, but there's not really a space to do that. Like you go, you're in this crowded area, you're, funneled to a table where maybe you'll interact with the 3 or 4 people directly around you.
Yep.
But then again, a lot of the times you're there with a friend. So you end up talking to your friend for 4 hours.
Right. And I think the beauty of having an activation or a theme to the party is that you're not just sitting down and you're not just talking to the people at your table. You're up, you're exploring new vendors, new companies, a new drink or food or jewelry or something like that. And you can kind of be up and mingling with everyone at the same time. I think the charity event I've have a great sponsorship this year with Habitat for Humanity and Palm Beach County Historical Society. But at the end of the day, I really like that both of those are tactical, and I can sit there and say, oh, well, I have a women's build team in March. Are you joining my team for Habitat? And then, same with the museum. Like, are you going to the museum? Are we preserving the archives? Now they're trying to get a lot of stuff digitalized. Is that digitized?
I don't know. Either one.
I don't know. They all sound good. But there are things in the community that I can actually see. And, I love a sip and shop. Don't get me wrong, but I don't always love where I'm shopping.
And usually the sips aren't that great.
Yeah. And so
I don't need a hangover.
Yeah. So we're definitely looking at ways to incorporate charities, but on a side, I've, invested myself and I've committed myself aside from the business, just because I want to, right? And there's something that I can actually go and do and show and be like, oh, I built that house this year. Or, oh, I helped do something at the museum or curate an event. So that to me was really important, and not just, you show up, you leave, and there's nothing to it. I mean, we can all do it. I've been there. We've all done it.
Yeah.
And
I think the other thing that you're going to be doing differently, or that you are doing differently, is the consistency. Like we've both kind of been involved in other organizations that they like ramp up and then like fall off the face of the earth. Like this is real. This is happening.
Yeah.
There's not a big barrier to entry. Like your membership is a once a year, fee, very low rate. It's not like crazy expensive where you don't want to commit. And I love that you're opening the first event open, to anyone.
Yeah.
So they can see if it's worth it.
Yeah. And I think, the idea is, again, that you come together, you not only have the opportunity to showcase your business at the large Palm Beach Fancy events, and there are four big ones slated for 2025, but there's also smaller activations that we're doing. So, my goal is, a lot of people ask me for pop-ups, and I'm not doing a pop-up, but you can all meet each other and you can all have a pop-up and you can all do it wherever you want by meeting all these people. But it just ended up being something that I knew needed to exist, and I needed it. And here we are.
I love it.
Thank you.
So tell everybody how to find you. Like, what's the best way to connect? Like, give us the details.
So Instagram is at Palm Beach Fancy. The website is pbfancy.com. You can see events listed on there. You can see the outline of the membership, Fancy & Co. We'll also have galleries from our past events, and as we add more, we'll have more on there. And what else is on there? There's Privet
Really
pics.
pretty pictures.
Yeah, really pretty pictures. Thank you. Thank you. We had a lot of fun designing it. Like I was so happy with how it turned out. So if anything, just go to see how cool it is. But yeah, I'm around and I'm available, and you'll probably see me out too. So say hi. It's weird when people are like, "Are you Palm Beach Fancy? How do I know you?" And
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, the people probably say that to you too. Like, "Oh, are you the slimming surgeon?"
They do, and it's weird when they call me that. But also, it's like, I'll just be like living my life, and then someone stops me, and I'm like, kind of feel like I need to put on a different face almost because your internet personality may or not be your at home with the kids personality, and I'm like, oh yes, that's me. Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like a mind trick. You have to say, oh, like who am I? What am I doing at this point? But I try to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah,
just
of course.
Being around, and I'm out in the community, so I feel like people know my dry humor or my little remarks and fun times. But that's just who I am.
So the first event, I just want to say before we wrap up the episode, it's going to be December 12th.
December 12th. It is at Palm Beach e-bikes. Mm-hmm. It is right next to the Brightline station. Mm-hmm. We are basically doing a little mix and mingle. We're going to do about 45 minutes of an actual exercise, and let's just call it like real connection and networking, problem solving through an activity, just to give you an idea of what the meetings will look like in 2025. And yeah, it's in a cool space. It's going to be low key, but it's also going to be really informative. And, I'm looking forward to hearing the suggestions of everyone as well, because it's great that I think we need one thing, but what else do we need? And how can we grow this? And what do we want to make it, right? I need to collaborate with everyone. So it's better for me. It's better for them. Tell us what you want. Come check it out. See where you resonate with the whole thing. And, we'll just see how it goes and continue to build.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
For coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
For sharing everything.
Yeah.
If you guys are not already following Ashley at Palm Beach Fancy, we've said it like a million times. Yep. Check her out on the island, riding around in her pink moke. And she's always in the scene. Send her a DM.
Yes.
But definitely check out the website. I think, eventually you'll have the RSVP link for the event.
Yes.
There.
Yep.
But join the membership. Like, what do you have to lose? Literally nothing.
It's $65.
Yeah. It's like a couple coffees.
Yeah. Literally. Well, it's like 6 if they're 10. I mean, they're definitely $10 now. So
crazy.
6 coffees.
I know. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But, okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so glad we got to talk about this. More to come. I'm going to have Ashley back on after the first of the year, once more events are slated and launch, so we can talk about some other great things she's doing that I can't tease yet. And if you haven't already, of course, please subscribe to my podcast wherever you're listening. Check us out on YouTube. That's new. And leave me a 5-star only review. Thanks, everyone. And thank you so much, Ashley.
Thank you, Kandace.
All right. Bye.